Hello everyone, we are welcoming Sailesh Kolanu to Galatta Plus, but actually he's welcoming us to the place where we have Alex Kolano, which is his horse. And yeah, he's the director of Hit 3 and we have lots to talk to him about.
Hi, sir.
Hello, very nice to
Finally,
meet you.
so nice
And
to
I
meet you.
never expected to meet any director with a horse right behind me and with a bag of carrots.
Carrots.
So that's very important because this horse loves carrots.
Yes,
So
it does.
why horse? Like, how did it suddenly happen?
The ranch, sir, it's the ranch life is very calm and very peaceful.
Okay.
I've always wanted to welcome a horse into my family. So,
Okay.
so Alex came in at the right time. I thought when you said let's have a different setup for the interview, I thought this is a place where I hang out most of the time these days. So I thought
This
I will
is a-
invite you to my ranch and show you the ranch around.
Yeah, this is lovely.
Yeah.
So he's Alex.
He's Alex.
Has he
yes.
acted in any movies?
He's acted in Hit 3. The horse that Nani rides is Alex. Yeah.
Oh, is Alex. Okay, that's where you met him.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
yes.
wonderful. So
We fell
so-
in love with him and we thought we'll bring him into
okay,
the
so
family.
we have the director and the star of the movie.
And the star of the
Yeah.
movie.
So
as
what is it? You have Max in Hit 2.
Yeah.
You have Alex in Hit 3.
well. And we have the vulture also.
Yeah, yeah, the vulture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it comes from my love for having these moments in the films where animals do something. They were films used to do it when I was a kid. in
Yeah, yeah,
Tamil
yeah,
film. I was
yeah.
born and brought up in Chennai.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
And
remember
you're a
having.
doctor.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I remember having a great time watching films and they were films where they bring in a monkey, they bring in a dog and horses and so many stuff, no?
Yeah.
Elephants and stuff. I used to have a lot of kick in watching those films. So I think that those moments as a childhood, in my childhood when I enjoyed those moments.
Think about those.
Yeah, I try to bring those kind of moments into my films now because I enjoyed it a lot during that time. Maybe it comes
Nice.
from that. Yeah.
So, what from 2020, when you debuted and you made Hit, the first case,
Yeah.
from then, let's just come till 2025, right? You made Hit, you remade it in Hindi,
Yes.
then you made Hit 2, then you made Sandhav, which has the name of the hero as Psycho,
Yeah.
and then you have Hit 3. So, for about 6 years of your life, you've been in criminal space in your mind.
Space. A little less for Saindav, I guess.
I guess, but still, you
yeah,
have like that's a
yeah.
criminal. He goes into crime. He
Yeah,
needs
yeah,
money
sure.
for his daughter's,
Yeah, for his injection and stuff,
injection
yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. So yeah,
I've been in that space only mostly.
yeah.
Probably that's why I feel.
Is that why you're wearing black? No.
Generally, I like black and gray. Most of my shirts are all black and gray.
Okay, it's a metaphor for your for your characters.
I know. But it's a lot less effort to choose what to wear when you go for colors like gray and black. No, so it's
Right,
much
right.
easier to pick up something and wear it.
No, but tell me, like, what is it like living in that space for so many years? I mean, you've not made any other genre, and I don't mean this like I love the hit, like as in even the first hit film when I first saw it, I felt the last portion kind of didn't come together well. But when I saw it again, after seeing Hit 2, for some reason it wasn't a problem for me. So, but what was it like? Like just one thriller slash psychotic killer slash after another. I mean, just going on and on for about 5-6 years.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just because I'm so invested in the hit universe right now, and that's the kind of space that we cracked for the hitverse. I guess I started doing that stuff, and I've been enjoying it a lot because I watch a lot of thrillers and I enjoy that space.
What are some of your favorite thrillers?
For me, I think as a very young boy, watching Kurudi Punal was the first time I got into liking thrillers.
Thriller.
It is kind of a police
Yeah, like a
procedural,
yeah.
police procedural thriller kind of a space. And Silence of the Lambs is something that
Oh.
I really enjoy.
Great film.
Seven is something that I really enjoy. There is a movie in Telugu called Anveshana, which
Yeah,
is also
yeah,
a great
yeah,
thriller.
yeah, yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. Chandrasekhar Elitis's films, when he started off, is also a lot of great thrillers that he did. Like Anukokunda Okoroju is one film that was there. Aite was another film that I
Yeah,
really
yeah,
enjoyed.
yeah.
These are some stuff that I can come off the top of my mind. But yeah, I watch a lot of thrillers as well.
Okay.
I watch less content, but whatever I watch, most of it is like thrillers and action thrillers and stuff like that. Yeah,
Right. So you're not like let me watch a romance, that kind of guy.
I do watch it. Of course, in fact, rom-com is something that I want to try after Hit 3 as well. But
Yeah.
I
Will
do
there be a serial killer in it?
Love story of a serial killer. Huh? Again,
Why not?
yeah, why not? Yeah,
They're human
but that's
beings
not
too.
no, sir. I
Yeah.
think I want to stay away from police, stay away from violence, blood and bullets for at
Okay.
least some time after hit 3 is what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Okay. You've been very open about acknowledging Nani's, mentorship, if you will, or
yeah, yeah,
presence in your life.
yeah.
How important is it to have such a person in your life?
I think it's made a huge difference in my life because I wouldn't be here today if not for Nani because he's the one who pushed me to direct a film first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never knew what I was doing while I was writing stuff in Sydney, sitting and writing. Used to do a PhD back then, and writing was my stress buster.
Creative outlet.
Yeah, exactly. So when I started writing scripts like that at one point in time, I felt that something very promising came out. It was my gut feeling that I suddenly started feeling something screen-worthy came out of that whole, I must have written at least 30, 40 scrap scripts before which I felt that one point that the script seems like it is screen-worthy. And I had Nani on my mind while I was writing it.
Why is that?
If you ask any young director, budding director in Telugu, they will say they imagine the story with Nani only. I don't know
Okay.
what's the reason for it. Because it may be because he's very relatable, maybe because we all believe that we have a chance of meeting him and telling him a story. He's accessible.
Accessible, approachable. Yeah,
And
yeah.
also we feel that he can pull off. You write a scene, you know that Nani can pull it off. Maybe that's why we imagine him when we write it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought the most honest thing to do about that is to meet this person and hand over that script to him and say like do whatever you want with it. So that was what we did.
Awesome.
This guy is, yeah, this guy is a guard for all the horses in the ranch.
Yeah.
So I thought the most honest thing to do would be to meet this person and tell him that, hey, I imagined you when I wrote the script, so can you have it and do whatever you want with it? And met him like that, and he said, can you narrate it to me in 15 minutes? The 15 minutes narration became like a 4-hour
Yeah.
meeting. And then at the end of it all, I realized was he thought that I was there for a direction opportunity, and he offered it to me. So I just accidentally became a filmmaker actually.
I know, but I'm saying, it's not just the fact that he offered you a film. He's been there for you
Yeah,
in
what
crucial
start?
moments.
Correct.
For instance, you've said that when Sandev didn't do well, he was there for you.
Correct.
Like the other parts also, like the decision to take hit as a concept-oriented thing rather than a hero-oriented thing. So he's been like,
He's been there all
Yeah.
through the journey. What started off as that
yeah,
with Hit 1, it became a very profound impact in my life because I think that's a kind of bonding we had through this journey. And also, it also comes from the fact that both of us are mad about films. We don't talk about anything else other than movies.
yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why I think we bonded at that level, and I guess he's always been there for me uh, through the thick and thin. I guess even when Saindav didn't do well, he was one of the first guys to call me and talk to me like about certain things that gave me a energy to go back again.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Everybody fails in their life, like at a pretty regular level, right? It's not failure is nothing new. Everybody's life
correct.
has
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. It's
But
inevitable.
but
Is what
but when a filmmaker fails, somehow it becomes some national news.
yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this person has. I mean, there's one like, oh my God, this film has not done well. As opposed to, oh yeah, okay, they did
Yeah.
something, they tried something,
Yeah.
and it's not working. But it becomes like,
Yeah.
sometimes it will become, oh, it's Venkatesh's 75th film, and Sailesh lets him down, or something like that. Those narratives come in as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, it's very strange, and that
At the end of the day, we are
can be very
making-
stressful.
Correct. It is very stressful because at the end of the day, when we release a movie, it's like standing naked in front of the world, asking them to judge you.
Yeah.
And when you don't succeed, and suddenly everything becomes about the failure, not about the effort that we
Yeah.
put in, and people don't see that. But it's okay. That's the nature of job, I guess.
But do you feel that effort should be rewarded? As in, should
Effort should
people
be-
say, okay, the movie's not working, but they've tried to do something. Is that the way you'd like?
No, effort should be acknowledged. It's not
Okay.
not necessarily rewarded. I think the effort should be acknowledged. It should. I just hope that wish that people knew that no filmmaker will intentionally go out there to deliver a flop.
Yeah, a bad movie or
everybody
whatever, yeah, yeah.
everybody gives their best
Yeah.
to make a film work. But unfortunately, sometimes it fires, sometimes it misfires.
Yeah.
But people tend to take it too personally when the movie doesn't work. But that's understandable because we all understand that's the nature of job. They're all coming in to watch a film with a lot of expectation for their favorite star. And when you don't deliver, obviously there will be a bit of frustration creeping in, and it's understandable.
How do you watch films? Like, suppose you go watch something, like let's say Kalki.
Hmm.
Okay, it's a different thing that it became a big success and all that kind of stuff. But let's say the movie did not do well, right? Would you say, look, Nagashwan has tried all these amazing things. So, okay, even if the film didn't kind of overall work for me, I'm acknowledging those efforts. Is that how you'd look at
I
it?
think if you ask me now, as Sailesh Kolanu, I don't have the luxury of not looking at the effort that went
Right,
behind
because
it
you're a
because I
director.
know exactly
Yeah.
what the filmmaker would
Yeah,
have
yeah.
gone through to create that kind of a film. It works or it doesn't work. I think it's been a while that I have gone into films without having that kind of a baggage on me. I think all the filmmakers that you
Yeah.
in fact anybody who's in the business of movies,
Yeah.
I think we lose that luxury of seeing films just like films.
Yeah.
We do go in there knowing that there is a lot of effort that went
Yeah.
into that piece of work, and so definitely if I go into Kalki, I would want to go there and celebrate Prabhasana and wanting to experience that.
Yeah.
And it when it happens we are very happy.
Yeah.
If it did not happen, wouldn't take it very personally. I would be
Yeah.
like, hey, yeah, it's okay.
Now there's real pressure on you, I guess, because
Yeah.
do you feel that though? Because hit one was a hit, hit two was a bigger hit, and when you're doing hit three, and with Nani, who's also a mentor, and was there some pressure like I should not let him down?
Oh, that was there. That's definitely. If I say that pressure was not there, it'll be a lie. For sure, when I started off the project, that pressure was a lot. But once I got into it, I guess Nani made me very. He made me very comfortable. There was a first 4 day period when I was a
Okay.
little shaky because I was not very sure. I was directing my favorite person, and like there was a little bit of bias there. You know what I mean? So, but after 4 or 5 days, Nani broke the ice. He made me sit down,
Right.
explained it to me that it's a, you have to leave that bias, put it at home and come and stuff like that. So, and also intentionally, I told my co-director not to put something very crucial in the first 4 days. I told him to schedule in such a way that Nani's doing passive scenes in the first 4 to 5 days, so that I had the time to settle down a little bit. Yeah.
Right. What are your thoughts on Vigilante Justice? Because I'm not asking you because I think it's a movie. At the end of the day, it's a fictional story.
Correct.
But there is a lot of the times that you feel that you hear about a very horrible crime, and part of you gets into an animal state and says that person deserves to die, and that this guy is implementing it. So you kind of what are your thoughts on that?
I don't believe in vigilante justice, sir.
Okay.
I think it's wrong. Obviously, it's wrong at so many levels. There is a judicial system. There is a police organization that is doing its job. I don't personally believe in vigilante justice, but it makes for a great watch on the screen. I
Yeah,
feel,
because if you look at it,
Yeah.
almost all our hero movies
Yeah.
are vigilante justice. About like no, very rarely do cops come in, courts come in,
Yeah.
unless the movie itself is called Code.
Correct.
Otherwise, it's
Yeah.
all like the hero takes law into his own hands and delivers
correct.
justice, and
All I think all we can do is to make that vigilante justice the most justified in terms of the emotion that we are pitching to the audience and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing we can do. But I personally don't believe in that. In fact, in Hit 2, if you see, I had given my subtle voice about encounters and stuff. Why, I'm very satirically told in right after the interval of the film, you will see people going, hoo-ha about,
Yeah.
oh, the justice is served and
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
while in reality you see that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I think that is my way of saying that, hey, it might happen in a film, but I don't personally believe in vigilante justice. Yeah.
But what I really found interesting in the hit movies is there's, whether in a heavy form or a light form, there's always, I don't know whether to call it philosophy or at least a thought. Like in hit 3, there is a thought, and I'm trying to make this as spoiler free as possible.
Yeah. Huh.
There is a thought that why do we? Thank you. I think he likes the interview. So there is a thought that why should we live according to the rules of society? And I have had the thoughts several times. Not with regard to,
No, I get
like
it.
what is in the movie, but
Yeah.
generally, right? Because
Right.
why can't we be free spirits, right? Why do we have to obey certain laws? Except that this is taking it to the extreme.
Right.
What do you think about, living within the codified laws of society?
I think it is needed, sir. Like
Okay.
because order is what is keeping the chaos away from our society, is what I feel.
Okay.
And if you don't have order, I think it's putting 100 human beings into a room and 100 chimpanzees into a room would be the same. If
Okay.
you're not guided with order. So as a society, as a civil society, I feel that we should be guided with certain norms of what we can do and what we cannot do. I believe in that. So free spiritedness is not a tool that you can make it available for everybody, because not everybody is responsible.
Okay.
Is what I is my take on it. But have you read this book called Sapiens?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first chapter of Sapiens dwells on this.
Yeah.
So it is about how there has to be one factor that is driving us to live together in a community
Yeah.
in a civil way. Law and order is something that I think we should he's safe. It's all right.
Very beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Law and
yes,
order
yeah.
is.
Law and order is something that that is this fellow is a little cranky.
Ah.
Look at him getting a little unsettling. So I feel law and order is something that enables us to live in harmony, is what I feel.
What I feel. Okay. But
You have some other take on it? Looks like it.
I don't know. I see. Obviously, there are certain no-nos, right? Like obviously,
Yeah.
killing. That kind of stuff. You don't like. That. There are certain obvious things that are beyond. But I think what society sometimes does is box people into a certain mentality or a certain way of living that sometimes they may not be suited for. And I think that sometimes I'll give you an example, for a very simple example. If you had not become a successful filmmaker, society would have said continue with what you did because your parents have paid so much money for something.
Correct.
There's certain rules. It's like parents come first. Your
Right.
We always tend to put ourselves behind.
Right.
Whereas I find that a little problematic because I think we need to put ourselves in front. I mean, like, to kind of, sometimes we need to think
So
about.
what you're talking about is a much more vast and
Obviously, I'm not talking about crime and.
I was talking from the
Film's point of view.
order point
Yeah,
of view and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely I feel the free spirited nature with respect to your choices, if you say,
Yeah.
it should definitely be, everybody should do whatever makes them happy, sir. That's what
Yeah.
I personally feel.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be you should be allowed to be unconventional, is definitely what I believe in. Yeah.
When you pitch the script to Nani and to the actor who plays the bad guy, did they like, oh, dude, you're really twisted? Did that happen? Did that happen?
It did, sir. It did actually. If you see, more than hit 1 and hit 2, hit 3 goes into a little more darker space as well.
Not little. Much darker film.
Much darker spaces.
Yeah.
No? So yeah, this was one question that I was constantly asked, like, what's wrong with you? In real life, you would have already realized that I'm not a very serious guy also. I'm a very goofy person in real life, and I'm a...
But I don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
I might be faking it.
Yeah, seriously. This is the face you're putting in front of the camera.
Absolutely.
So,
So, but it's definitely a question that Nani had asked me, and also the guy who played the antagonist also asked me, what's wrong with you? Especially because we had, the thing was, it all goes to one extent. But once the 9-month-old baby comes in, it is something else. It was very twisted, and I am a father of a 4-year-old boy. So imagine me writing that. It was very difficult for me, to be very honest. But then the justice to the script has to be done. So I had to dwell into that space. I still remember isolating myself for a few months when I was writing Hit 3.
Yeah.
I was not talking to a lot of people. I was just minding my own business and writing it, because my wife is a little scared now after seeing the film.
Oh.
She's like, what's wrong with you, man?
Who is this person I've married? When you write really dark stuff, right? is it just imagination like everything else, or do you have to enter a little bit of a dark zone in your head?
It does take a little toll on your thinking during that time. You are a little more moodier, and
Yeah.
it does take a toll on you because we are reading a lot of material related to crime. I was browsing a lot of dark web as well. The cyber department in Hyderabad helped me a lot in
Okay.
understanding the dark web space and stuff. So the TSP, Telangana State Police, they've been so helpful in letting me into their facility and showing me certain stuff about how dark web works and
Okay.
stuff like that. So when you see those kind of things, definitely your mind does get a little moody. Like you do feel, where is the world heading? For me, the biggest thing that used to bother me was, what's the world we are leaving behind for our kids? Especially when you become a father,
Yeah.
you start thinking, is my son going to grow up in this world where these kind of people are living? Because when you're directly accessing those kind of stories, you start feeling a little unsettling. Definitely it did take a toll on how my mood was when I was writing it. But I guess then once the filming was over, until the filming part, I had that problem that it was a little too dark for me. During the post phase, I came out of it.
How do you snap out of it, or during the post phase?
Come to the ranch here, spend some time with my boy, play with him, stuff like that, just to take the mind off.
One thing that I like about the hit movies is that all your protagonists are a little messed up.
Yeah.
They have their own problems.
Yeah.
Is that shade of gray something that you want to pursue in all your works and not have perfect people? Because see, it's very possible to make an audience pleasing hit using this perfect macho cop as well.
Yeah.
They don't have to be necessarily messed up, but that adds that lovely layer of they have to battle something within themselves and also outside of themselves, right? Is that something that fascinates you?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. I feel great stories can be told if there is a flaw in your character. It always gives you an opportunity to add another layer of conflict. Internalize the journey a little more, and you have a very good scope of doing some relatable characters as well. Because none of us are perfect, no. All of us have our own flaws, and I guess bringing that into storytelling is a very nice aspect, is what I believe. So I try to always ask myself when I'm writing the protagonist character, okay, so he's definitely not perfect. What is wrong with him?
Right.
So something that I always jot down when I write down my protagonist character is what's wrong with him.
Like a backstory.
Like a backstory. It could be a part of the film, it may not be a part of the film, but I always ask a question, what's wrong with him? It's not everything that is correct about him. So I do my work on that. And it sometimes leaks into the story, sometimes it does not leak into the story. Like for example, if you see Hit 2, Sesh's character does not have any, other than the fact that he's a loose tongue guy who just sarcastically cracks a joke wherever it's not even appropriate.
Yeah.
There is no other darker layer to him. He's a very happy soul. He's like, but actually in his backstory, I had something like but that didn't make it into the story.
Like what did you have?
No, I mean during his upbringing and all that, he comes from a very affluent family. He has a huge house. He has a problem with people imagining that he's taking bribes. There's so many other stuff that I wrote. The sarcasm actually is a coping mechanism that he had because during the childhood, because he comes from a very affluent family, he was not kept a part of the groups that were hanging out, and there's so much story that we write, but it may or may not come into the story sometimes. But
I like the really casual way he asks his girlfriend to move in with him. Into that was, I mean, the way you shot that or wrote the whole scene, it was like there was no big fuss about it. It was like, dude, you want to do this? That's all. It's like asking a male friend, you want to play volleyball? It's like that. It's like.
But I think people have become like that now.
No. But it was good to see. I
wanted that urban attitude towards relationship to reflect in the storytelling, so that it becomes very relatable to the younger lot who are watching. I wanted them to feel, hey, this is how it is now. It's not a big thing to ask people to move in. So that's
You said that you've added a lot of footage, or rather to Hit 3, not because a lot of people with Hit 2 and 1 were about 2 hours long. Hit 3 is about 2 hours 40, I think.
235,
235. So, and you said you actually added some footage to it to kind of give some tonality change to it to slow it down. Can you give me an example of one scene that you added for the tonality change?
A lot of the searchings that were happening outside this palace in the forest, there was sudden moment where you see Mridula getting emotional, holding a small
Yeah.
butterfly shaped clip and thinking about
In the jeep.
in the jeep. They were not there in the first cut that we saw, but we thought that there is so much chaos happening inside the palace. We want to put brakes to that and just calm down a little bit and go back. So it
Yeah.
gives a great scope for the narrative to slow down, one, the music also to pitch down a little bit and then go up. We needed that space,
Yeah.
which was missing big time when we had the first cut of the film. When we watched it, we thought that no, it has to be. And then the whole pressure about thriller has to be only 2 hour 15 minutes. There's so many misconceptions about the
Yeah.
length of a thriller. Everybody gets, oh, thriller film, will it hold beyond 2 hour 15 minutes and all that. We thought we should go all out and play front foot and believe in what is needed for the script.
Yeah.
So with all the world building that was needed in the second half, we decided that it can be a bit more lengthier than what we had wished it to be.
Yeah.
And that worked out, because I think the chaotic spaces look more chaotic now because you have a certain calm spaces coming in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, because for example, when she's holding that butterfly clip, it's also a small reminder of their love, which has vanished in the second half.
Correct,
Like as in, because it's all about the
Correct.
action, right? So
Correct,
the thing is,
correct.
it's
Yeah.
a little, it actually helps the film.
Yeah,
Because it takes you back to that emotion that she's carrying into
that
that.
was a belief, and
Yeah.
that was the intention of putting it there.
Yeah.
Is because what is the only emotion that is holding the second half together is, from the emotional point of view, is Mrudula's attempt to get to Sarkar, to just her longing to make sure that he is safe is what
Yeah,
is the
yeah,
emotional thread
yeah,
that is
yeah.
running. So we thought the film has to slow down there to be able to convey that.
Have you seen Battleship Potemkin?
No.
Okay. Because
I'd say I don't watch a lot of content. I read a lot. A lot of my inspiration comes from
reading.
reading a lot of books. But yeah.
Sometimes how one image reminds you of something else.
Yeah.
So when this baby thing happened, it totally reminded me of Battleship Potemkin,
okay.
extended into a big ass action scene. And let me
Okay.
congratulate you on how you pulled that off, because when you do action, and there's one absolutely favorite bit that I had, which was like, oh, he's trying to open the door.
He won't be.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's one favorite bit that I have, a very fantastically twisted bit, where somebody tries to hold the
Oh, yeah.
the carriage with the thing,
Yeah,
and something happens, and then something happens with the hands, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
wow, that's my moment of the year, just like
Very casually chops it and.
yeah, just as like puts it off like something like that.
Yeah.
So these things,
Yeah.
do you write, or do you guys jam and like say, what do we do here? Because that's a that's a lovely, because as it's fantastic, that stretch, that half an hour stretch or something.
Yeah.
But it's also, the reason it's good is because it's so believable. As in, like if there's a corridor, then he's kind of there, that somebody is there, like these are not brand new things, but the way they're staged here, it's fantastic. The way he impales somebody, or the way he does something to somebody, right? It's like, it's all very, very, it's beautifully choreographed within that space. So how do you do good action? Is it like all of you jam and say, let's cut this man's head off, let's do that? I mean, like, how do you do it?
No, actually, see, a lot of the highs that you're feeling in the action sequences, they all came after Lee Whitaker came on board.
Okay.
Lee Whitaker is from Albuquerque. So we brought him into because this is a major chunk of the film.
Yeah.
That has to go hand in hand with direction, with writing. Otherwise, what happens is it becomes one episode where everybody is chopping everybody and there is no real graft to it.
Yeah.
So we wanted Lee to come in way ahead of time and bounce some ideas to us and understand. Right. He designed the whole action for us. And of course, there was a lot of jamming between me, Lee, and Nani. We sat down and we did a lot of other things. So the fine detailing, like how the hands getting chopped and removing and all that, they all came not from writing. The writing was very clear. The writing was where the event unfolds, and then what kind of resistance he has, and what does he have to win over to come out. The rest of it is all like a lot of fine detailing came in from the action choreographers once they came on board.
Okay.
You sit down and there's a huge action writing that happens. It is not a conventional writing that happens. In action writing, there are action beats that we have to. It's again a screenplay within a screenplay. There is a beginning, middle, and an end to the action choreography if you see it. So that was all cracked once Lee Whitaker came on board. So he brought in his team of writers with him. We sat down and started writing action.
The action guy has writers.
They write action.
Oh.
That is how it works there.
Okay.
So they actually take the story from us, they sit down, and again they write a screenplay for action as well, in which I am involved, in which Nani comes in and gives some amount of feedback. So the action is looking the way it is because it was done very unconventionally.
And I think the fact that Nani does this is fantastic because it's such a not non-Nani space, right? It's like
non-Nani.
Yeah, it is, right? Because yes, he's done action before, but it's like the Indian action.
Correct.
It's this kind of closed space, and I love corridor fights because they make the action very convincing because people can only come from this side or from this side. So you actually believe one guy can fight many because the other way they can't come from all sides, and
the idea of writing action in the corridor was also that. Because suddenly, in none of my films I had ever shown one guy hitting 100 people. None of the hit-verse films I have shown that. So suddenly now we have 150 serial killers in a location. He has to take them down. How do you actually jump that logic? Is by designing a space where his action is happening. And in writing I had decided these were very thin spaces through which only, and the protagonist actually tells that to one of the characters as well. Once you get into these corridors, we have the advantage because there are only few people who can attack you at the same time. Rest of them will clog behind them, and it's very easy to.
And I thought the art director did a brilliant job with that Burmese Palace. That whole thing was fantastic.
A lot of work went into that, sir, because we had tried 5-6 designs of where this action can happen, and we had given up on the ideas, and then finally arrived at a Burmese Palace because the challenge was, if I tell the Telugu audience that there is a cult group of serial killers, 150 of them coming together on a killing spree, and they're doing this. If you place it anywhere near a familiar area, it will be very non-relatable. If I tell it's happening in Hyderabad or Vizag, they'll laugh at me. So now it has to happen in a very alien space. At the same time, somewhere in India. So Arunachal Pradesh was the best place for me because how many of us have really traveled to Arunachal Pradesh, right? So we decided the place was that. So now. Then we decided what is the architecture that we need to have. Burma is very close to Myanmar and Burma, very close to Arunachal. So we thought we'll bring in that architecture. So if you really see, Burma never had any Burmese palaces was not there in Arunachal Pradesh in reality. But it was the closest country that we had that we could take the liberty of bringing into the architecture. And you see there will be 3 layers of details on every single frame that you'll see because we included a backstory for that.
There's a hospital.
Correct. So the antagonist actually tells Nani in the film that, this was a place which was 150 years back, it was a Burmese palace. And then 50 years back, it was used as a hospital by the Arunachal government, and now we are using it. So if you see, every frame will have 3 levels of detailing on them. You will see dilapidated walls and ruins, which are probably from the king's time. You will see some steel structures, which are ramps and hospital scraps, which are probably from the Arunachal Pradesh government using that space timeline. And then you will also see this dilapidated structures being put together using bamboos, which is a very makeshift thing. And bamboos are being very signature of Arunachal landscape. We used all bamboos to, bridge these dilapidated structures like staircase and pillars and stuff like that. So everything was modeled, everything was drawn before, and extensive amount of work went into it. And Nagendra sir was the production designer. He did an amazing job with that.
I'm just remembering now that you say it, another lovely bit of, it was almost poetic the way that curved knife went into that girl's throat, That was like one moon-shaped knife, just just went in like that, and it was like, so it was very, very well done on that.
Thanks.
One very identifiable point was when Nani kept thinking he had left arm pain. Because I think a lot of people of a certain age start associating left arm pain with, oh my God, I'm having a heart attack. That's this kind of, because you hear about it, right? So that was like...
I think today's age, I guess, once you cross 35 years of age, that fear kicks in.
I don't think that much. It's like I've heard of much younger people.
It's a real problem, sir. Now, I think because of the lifestyle and all that, and also what so many theories going on right now. What did COVID vaccine do to us? There's so much of fear,
Yeah.
in people right now. So I think that fear is very real.
Do you think that Hit 4 will be bigger as in size? Because the thing is, see, I understand one thing. And let me tell you another thing that I really liked about Hit 3 is that instead of the discovery being made at the end about who the killer is or what the motive is, you make it do it in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's a nice surprise because now we are like, okay, so this has been discovered, now what?
Yeah.
So then the rest of it becomes a kind of an action movie.
Correct.
Where the where things happen. Let's not again. This is kind of and I
it
thought
becomes
that was
a kind of a survival thriller from
thriller.
there,
Yeah,
and how
yeah, that's a good way to look at it. And I
Correct,
thought that was very thing.
Sure.
But now you have to better this in Hit 4.
Yeah.
So that people don't say, oh, he put in a lot of effort, but you know that back. So
I think it's a challenge that that will be the fourth time or third time I will take up that challenge, I guess, because I had the same challenge for 2 as well, and 3 as well, the same challenge I had. 4 will pose the same challenge to me.
but you can't make it small, right? Because you have a star. You've revealed that at the end.
What is big and what is small, sir?
When I say small, I mean like, see, when you have relatively, uh, you know, uh, like younger stars, smaller stars. As in, when I say small, it's not
No, I
about
understand
talent.
your intention.
It's
Yeah,
about the
Yeah.
size of their audience and all that, right?
Right,
The
right.
upcoming, let's say.
Right.
You can afford to make certain smaller films which are contained. Whereas I think Hit 3 hits that sweet spot between being a very individual thriller and also being something that an actor with a lot of fans like Nani can sell to a lot of people.
Right.
I think that's needed because I don't think you can make a very, something very small. I don't think you can make Hit 2 with Nani. Is my idea. Because now he's become maybe 6 years back when he was doing Jersey and stuff like that, maybe at that point, yeah. But I think now he's become a bigger star.
Right.
Similarly, when you do Hit 4, will that be a consideration that I have to write certain theater moments, that I have to write certain mass moments for this star?
I'm not taking that pressure, but definitely I think because we know who's going to be playing Hit 4, that will automatically be running in my mind
Yeah.
in with respect to what is appropriate for that star. But I also believe that the scale of the film can also be emotionally achieved. If you have very high emotional stakes in the film can become very universal, is what I believe. Like, for example, if you see a film like Rangasthalam, sir,
Yeah.
what scale do you have in that film? But the emotional stakes are so high.
But it's very well mounted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
that is needed. But I'm saying if you are talking about the scale of the film
Yeah,
per se,
yeah.
then I feel that you can bring in so much emotional stakes into the film that it feels like a universally appealing, huge film. In thriller space, Drishyam is a perfect example of how universal, how huge the film feels, even though it's happening only in a small village.
Yeah.
So I believe emotional stakes are what, if you make an emotionally riveting film that stands out for its moments, I think that's the biggest scale we can achieve. And I would want to take that challenge to go in and see what I can do with Hit 4. And I'm also very excited because I know what crime I'm going to deal with. And I know in my mind there is an idea. And I also know what's the characterization of the person who's going to play it. It'll be very interesting to see what premise I can put it in and what kind of emotional stakes I can bring into the film.
Is it going to be gruesome?
Yeah, sir. I mean, let's see. It's too early to probably say that.
It has to be. Like, I mean, after
Not
this.
necessarily gruesome. It's not necessarily violent. He can be something else that is much more interesting.
One detail that I really liked, it's just kind of an emotional detail in Hit 2, was the idea of a treehouse.
Yeah.
It's a very unusual thing to, like, okay, one thing happens, a man is betrayed, but then the blame comes on him. And so he is ostracized by society. And so he wants a space that is away from this world, and he gets that space only on top of a tree.
Yeah.
That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
So I love that you don't really explain it though.
Yeah,
It's a lovely little psychological touch that says that I don't want to be where other human beings are. They've put me out. I need to have my own space like a bird or whatever it is, like I need to be there.
Yeah.
And that becomes the breeding ground for the the other one. I love that touch.
Yeah.
And I think those little moments Hit 4 also needs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sir, yeah.
yeah, I think
I think we will, from what idea I have and what premise is running in my mind, I think we will end up having a great thriller is what my,
great,
yeah.
as in wonderful thriller or
Yeah,
great.
Great.
Great thrill.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
Scope for a great thriller to unfold with the kind of actor that I've got on board as well. He's a great performer. He's a star. So there is so much I can do with him. Is
And
what
he's
I
very
feel.
good in this space.
Exactly. He's
Yeah.
very good in this space,
Yeah.
and I feel there is a scope for doing something very great. So that's the hope.
So now you're going to Sydney.
Yeah.
Not now, but like
In another
a
20,
bit.
20
Yeah.
25 days time.
Yeah. So you're going to Sydney and you're going to park yourself there.
Yep.
You're you're what, a citizen?
I'm a permanent resident of Sydney.
Okay, you can go anytime you want.
I can go anytime I want.
Okay.
But yeah, the citizenship applications and stuff
But
that's
you
all
have to say
due
now
right now.
something like, my heart belongs to India.
Huh? What?
You have to say, my heart belongs to India.
Patriotism angle, say.
Yeah. That's the mass.
That's the mass,
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I worked there for almost 10 years and
Yeah, yeah.
got the PR there, and we're gonna live there mainly because I wanted that creative space. Because I know if I'm here in this office now, I'll have a couple of visitors every day, and they come from a very good space of wanting to come and see me and congratulate me and have a small chat and go. But I think I want to stay away from all this, go away from here for like 3-4 months and end up writing something because I want to be on a writing spree. Yeah.
But are you going to write that romantic comedy
Yeah.
about the serial killer's love life, or are you going to write Hit 4?
So it will be an out and out romantic comedy film about somebody who's very relatable, somebody who has nothing to do with blood, gore, bullets, crime, nothing.
Do they at least write serial killer novels? No.
Sorry? Huh?
Do they at least write serial killer novels?
Sir, why are you going back to serial killer?
I don't like, I just want to,
You want everything
You do
about-
that well. So
do that
this
well.
is like, yeah.
I will try to make you say that at the end of my rom-com film as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice. So,
Sailesh does rom-coms well as well.
yeah, nice.
But that is something that I want to do because it's, I want to just, go down, smell some roses and feel a little, normal again for at least some time. I want to go to a set where there is no blood.
What are some of your favorite rom-coms?
Oh. I always go back to Kamal Hassan sir's films only. So I would say my favorite would be, I don't know if you call it rom-com, but it's a, Sati Leelavati is
Comedy, yeah.
Is a-
Yeah.
yeah, kind of. That is one film that from comedy space I really like it. There's a lot of romance in Michael Madana Kamarajan also, sir. I feel that's also a great film.
Yeah. Actually, in India, we rarely, only like recently have rom-coms come up. As in recently, meaning last maybe 20 years or something like that. Before that, it was the romantic melodrama, that
romantic
was
space.
really like you take a movie like Bommarillu, it's romance and all that, but it's not a rom-com as such.
As in the comedy angle is a little
It's more about the family
more
and this and that.
periphery
Yeah,
of it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
as in the rom-com space is something that,
Or even Nuvastan Ante,
yeah.
all those movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, but all the best.
Thank you,
It was
sir.
lovely
It was a
meeting you,
pleasure
and,
meeting
and
you.
in the
Yeah.
middle of all these
All the
saddles and
neighing of horses and stuff. Yeah.
this actually would be a real good serial killer den.
You feel so?
I think so.
Now you have my doubts on me. Why am I hanging out here more?
Oh my God! With all the chains and whips and this is kind of suddenly
Now
making
it's hitting
sense.
you.
Now it's hitting me. Yeah. So, but lovely meeting you, Sailesh.
Same here, sir. Same
Yeah,
here, sir.
yeah.
Thank you
And
so
all
much
the
for
best.
coming here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.